Hey there, it's Brian Webb, your neighbor, Florida Executive Realty, and this is your real estate update for April. This month, I'm going to try to answer the question, is it a good time to buy? Is it a good time to sell? And share some stats with you, some information that can hopefully help you make a decision if you're thinking about this. So let's get started. I want to preface all this discussion that we're going to go through on this idea of good time versus right time. A good time is based on statistics, general market conditions, kind of a broad angle look at what's going on in the market and what we expect to happen in the future. And that might be different from the right time because the right time is very personal and it's up to you and your risk tolerance and what you want to accomplish with real estate. So these are two important questions. Is it a good time to buy or sell? Maybe. Or is it the right time to sell? Also, maybe. So I think you'll see once we get into this how this plays out. So we're going to take a look at both buying and selling in the midterm, long term, but also the short term. So let's start with, is now a good time to buy for mid and long term hold periods? It's about we're considering that 4 years or more. Um, Many areas in our market are at or near balanced market conditions. And there's a lot of new construction options with sub 4% I've seen or 5% interest rates. So if you are, especially if you're considering purchasing maybe your first home or you've recently moved from out of the area and are renting, new construction might be an option for you, considering the reduced promotions and rates that they're doing. Now, new construction isn't always a great idea, so it depends on your situation and your goals. Happy to talk that over with you. But you can see there's a few other options there, including just the benefit of locking in your costs as a hedge against inflation, property and income tax benefits, and sometimes down payment assistance for certain types of properties and types of buyers. So if you're going to hold for more than 4 years, it seems like it's a decent time, a good time to buy. Now, remember the good versus right time. We'll talk about that again. And now let's look and see if it's a good time to buy if you have a short-term hold period. And for this, I'm considering like 3 years or less. I have advised several people over the past year who had a short-term outlook. Maybe they're only going to be here for a couple of years. Maybe they knew that a job transition was happening, or they just had, weren't so certain about what was going to take place. And my advice to them has been that it's probably not a great idea to purchase because look at number 4. It says the shorter the hold period, the greater the risk because you don't have the opportunity, if appreciation doesn't happen, flat or low, to offset those selling costs that come with getting rid of a property. So shorter time frame, I would not recommend buying. All right, now let's move to selling. If you've owned a home for more than 4 years, 3.5, 4 years, is it a good time to sell? And chances are yes, unless you overpaid back in the day. Now's a decent time to sell. There's market conditions, especially in certain price ranges from like 300 to 500,000 and a few others. They slightly favor sellers, believe it or not. Uh, there's also more options for your next home. Whether it's you're selling an existing home or moving to new construction or upsizing, downsizing, you have more options, and there's honestly less competition at the moment. Over the past 5 years, your appreciation on average across the region has been about 41%. So you've gained some equity in your home, which helps offset that those costs of selling. And you can also port your safer homes tax benefits, the homestead exemption, and put it on your new property, which is a great benefit as well. Now, this might be a tough pill to swallow if you have to sell and you've owned your home for less than about 3.5 years. We saw a noticeable shift and change in the market about that time, and the price appreciation since then has been relatively flat, 6.5%. On average, historically, we're at like 4.7, 4.8% annual appreciation. But over the past 3 years, it's only increased 6.5% total. And that might not be enough to cover your combined buying and selling costs. What we're seeing, talking to title companies, we're seeing people that have purchased within this short time frame having to write checks to sell their own home, bring their own money to the table to sell a house. And that's certainly not a situation that we want to get into. So that goes back to should I buy if I'm going to hold for a couple years or less? It's probably not a good idea. So I only have one point here, but it's a big one. Unless you have to sell, reach out to someone, maybe me, to give you some advice and guidance on what your best options might be. So this all leads back to the good time versus right time question from the start. Is it a good time for you to sell or buy a house? It depends. And truth be told, all of the statements that I just made in the last four slides, those are all kind of generic things that are for overall market. And it might not be the same for your particular situation, which leads to the right time. Is it a right time for you to buy or sell? Possibly. Is it a good time? Depends on the situation. And I'm happy to talk with you about that, help give you some information, some guidance that help you make the right decision, whatever that might be. All right, real quick, I wanted to share some data about active listings in 34639. I know that's not every zip code along this Wesley Chapel Boulevard corridor that we're going to look at in a minute, but one zip code in particular. This is the last 13 weeks. These lines represent what's going on in our market for active single family homes. You see the median list price has been relatively flat at 470, price per square foot 235, and inventory coming down as we get into what's typically the busy season of buying. 53 active single family homes in this region. Sorry, in the zip code right now. It's a little different from what I'm going to show you in the second for our particular area, but that's good information. Mortgage rates are obviously a big important factor in the affordability of housing, and here we are. This is the nationwide average last week for 30-year fixed money. You see it's below the 52-week high, but right about the 52-week average. And this does play an important factor in people's ability to purchase. This is just the average. And so you have people who are getting higher rates, obviously, and lower rates, obviously. And if you're considering making a purchase, it's best to talk with a lender to find out what your situation is and what you can get. But it is something important that we keep track of. All right, Brian, enough yakking about all that stuff. Let's see what happened in our corridor. This is from basically the outlet mall up Wesley Chapel Boulevard to the Winn-Dixie area. So it includes Enclave, Stagecoach, the Oaks, Cypress Estates, Grand Oaks, Lexington Oaks, and more. So here we are. There are 19 homes for sale currently, median days on market 28. 37% of them have had one price reduction, and the median list price is $419,000. There are some relatively cheap homes out there right now, but the median list price is $419,000. Right? So active, this is pending. 18 homes went pending under contract in the month of March. We had 2 cancel or expired for whatever reason, maybe price too high, maybe the price didn't match the condition or whatever. Of those pending sales, 21 days on market, and the median price at contract was $430,000. And in the month of March, we had 20 sales, 20 closed homes. So these homes went under contract in February. We had a big bump in activity in February, beginning at middle end of January. We had 20 homes sold in the area, 20 days on market. You see the median sold price and the average sold price. Median is always lower. The average takes into account the extreme highs and the lows, and the median is right there in the middle. And you see the list to sell ratio of 100%. So that's what's going on in the Wesley Chapel Boulevard corridor, again, from the outlets up to the Winn-Dixie on 54. All right, if you stuck around this long, congratulations, you get a gold star. You can add it to your chart, and I appreciate you taking the time to watch and listen. My goal is always to be an advisor. It's not my money when it comes to a house. Obviously, I get paid from it, but I want to help people make the right decision for them, and whether that's buying or selling. If you know someone who needs some guidance, some help, they're considering buying, they're considering selling, pass my name on it. I love, love, love referrals. It's a very important part of my business. And so if that's you or you know someone, reach out. I hope you have a great month, and I will see you around. Bye.